Hi, this is Suraj again. Today we would be, introducing to some of our guests who are presently working in Canada and who are Canadian as well. So let's start with the introductions.
My name is Steven. I grew up in Canada and I was born in China. I've been in Canada ever since I was very young. It has been I've been very fortunate to have been given the opportunities in North America to develop my life and my career, and I'm very grateful for that. I work as a pharmacist, and it's been a very rewarding career. There's always challenges, of course, but it's been a very rewarding, and I guess it requires a lot of schooling, and the typical income that a pharmacist could expect to make in Canada varies a lot depending on which part of Canada they work in. If they work in the major metropolitan areas, they could expect anywhere from $35 an hour to about $50 an hour. Certain provinces are higher than others, and out in the small towns, sometimes they can make as much as, say, 55, 60. So it varies. If you're willing to go to small locations, more rural and remote locations, you will make more money.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Fanny. I'm originally from China, and now I live in Canada, in Alberta. I work as a registered nurse. The average salary, I would say, as an RN, you start around $39 an hour to 50s, like around $50 an hour. It's quite rewarding working, and very fortunate to be able to live and work in Canada. I find that they're very accepting of women, like we are equal in our culture and society. So very fortunate there.
Hi, I'm Rizwana. I was born in Bangladesh and I immigrated in 2003. And currently I work as an engineer in Canada. I graduated as an electrical and computer engineer. The work is a little bit different. It's hardware engineering on graphics processors. I love Canada because, again, I come from Bangladesh. There's a lot of freedom in Canada. So as a woman, it's a very inclusive environment. I personally have not experienced discrimination. So that's a big thing, I think, compared to a lot of other countries. And there's a lot of opportunities. You can pursue whatever dream you want. That's it. Okay, thanks.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I am currently a risk manager at one of the big banks in Canada. I graduated from the University of Toronto with a Bachelor of Business Administration, and I went on to get further education, and I have my certified chartered financial analyst designation, and as well as my financial risk manager designation. I think that in Canada, as per Rizwana said, there's lots of opportunities for women out there. We are treated as equal. I was born in Vietnam, and I came from a country that's very male dominant. And to come here to work in Canada was a fantastic opportunity for me and my family. I have 3 sisters. They all loved it here there in Canada because they were given the opportunity to pursue education and the opportunity to work and earn just as much as men, or sometimes even more.
Hi, my name is Kate. I went to Canada when I was 15 years old from China, and currently I'm an accountant working at a hedge fund company. I am a designated chartered accountant, so the salary range for chartered public accountant is ranging from 75,000 USD to 150 USD. It depends on which industry you're working in, and it also depends on your position. when going to Canada is one of the changing opportunity in my life, and in Canada, like all the women and girls were treated equally, and you have more opportunities compared to China, and also you are not expected to getting married early or having kids early. You have the opportunity to pursue your career and your dream. Thank you.
What is the minimum educational qualification to become a chartered accountant?
The minimum qualification would be university degree. Yeah. You can also get you can also get the college degree first, working in the field and getting experience, and then pursue and then slowly build up your background. And in a way, you can also build up a reputation in the industry and build your network. So yeah. So accounting for the accounting industry, it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's necessary for you to get a designation. It's a knowledge that you acquire. As long as you have the knowledge, you have the stepstone, which will enable you to pursue any job opportunity in any industry. Because every industry needs an accountant. Yeah.
And in order to become a chartered accountant,
Yeah.
do you need to appear some kind of exam?
Yes, there is a professional exam, and first of all, you have to register with an institute. And there are, I think currently they've updated the procedure, so you have to do 3 capstones. So it's like 3 separate courses, and they have 3 separate final exams. So you have to pass all those 3 exams in order to get the designation. In total, it will take you around 2 to 3 years to get designation. Yeah.
And for the risk management, what is the minimum educational qualification?
Yes, so you would need at least a Bachelor of Business Administration or a Bachelor of Commerce. That's the bare minimum, and then you have to go on to pursue your Master's or your MBA. Other designations that I've gotten is the Chartered Financial Analyst or the FRM, which is the Financial Risk Manager, and then from there on you can intermingle and get many more designations, and there's a lot more that are coming out. But the main ones that in my field that I specialize in is the Chartered Financial Analyst. Yeah.
And what about engineering? You need to get licensed first.
No, actually, graduating from an university is good enough. You should be able to. Bachelor's of engineering is good enough to enter the industry, which is what I did. I entered as a bachelor's, and I probably would be doing a master's at some point. It is not necessary though. Depends on which industry you go into. So, for example, digital electronics, you should be able to get in with a bachelor's. Then you may upgrade if you want to switch an industry or you want to gain more knowledge. Analog industry is a little bit different because it is more research oriented. Therefore, you have to have your PhD, or rather, most people end up doing their PhD. It's not for certain streams of engineering fields you do. Yes. Software engineering, a lot of people don't. They will graduate in bachelor's. There is a ton of job at the moment. Every industry would need it. As Katie was pointing out, that software would be used for bank. You guys would need tech industry, right? Hardware, obviously what I do. So I'm in a semiconductor industry, which actually India has international company outsourced their branches in here that we actually work with. So we actually hire engineers here. Sometimes they actually grow over there. So I actually have a friend who started here at Qualcomm earlier after her graduation, and eventually she went over to Canada, and she's currently working as a co-worker with us. And there are a few other examples of such occurrences. So I think you asked about salary range. Again, what Stephen was saying, it really varies. Different industry. I work as a hardware engineer, therefore the range is at my level about 120 to 140 or so.
Monthly, annual?
No, that's annual. We usually say salary as annual, right? So 120 to 140K. Software, they would entry level would be a little bit smaller. However, if somebody is very ambitious, obviously Amazon, Google, Facebook, they're all hiring, right? they pay very well. So yeah, and a ton of startups at the moment that are hiring software engineers. So maybe the start is a little bit low, and that's okay, because eventually if you work really hard and you are growing your career, you're learning. Again, you guys all mentioned that as long as you have the knowledge, you should be able to bring yourself through industry.
And when you were pursuing your education, you must be picking up part-time jobs.
I did work study actually. I did engineering science, so the program is quite hard compared to not saying that all the other engineering programs weren't hard, they were, but engineering science focused on sciences as theory, because a lot of our students go into research fields. So these guys actually pursue masters and PhD. There is a small stream of us who end up doing bachelors, and then we incrementally evolve ourselves into the industry, and there is a bunch that actually switch out completely. So I have friends who are in law. Again, it's actually coming back to what these girls have been already talking about, that you have the knowledge, you develop your base. University is quite important, right? You develop your base, and then based on that knowledge you can switch to law, accounting actually. Finance is a huge industry right now, so a lot of engineering students are going into finances. Either that, you could do aerospace, nanotech, or you can go to different countries. So US universities do take in Canadian students if that is what the students choose to pursue.
I think one thing I did forget to mention was I think these girls and guys did mention the salary range. So for a risk manager, the salary range is, and it really depends on your experience and as well as your education, but it's a very wide breadth from from 80 to 120. And then as you progress in your career, you become senior managers, then you move on from there. So it's a really wide breadth depending on your age and your experience and as well as your education. So I just want to make that sort of clear to everybody. Yeah.
Again, same question. What is the minimum education qualification to become a registered nurse?
For an RN, you have to get a degree, a bachelor. Like I got Bachelor of Sciences of Nursing. That's like a 4-year program. After that, you have to pass an exam, a licensing exam. So you would register with the province that you live in, and then you pass the exam, and then they give you a license. So every year you have to maintain your competencies in order to renew your license.
How tough is the exam, the licensing exam?
Easy for her.
They actually have changed the way that they do the exam. Before we call it the coroner exam. Now it's in Canada. Now they do the NCLEX, which is across North America. If you pass the NCLEX, you can also go to the States too, but you just have to register with their states there, their board of nursing there. So right now, the new ones, they're all based on knowledge and critical thinking. Like how hard it is, I'm not sure because I didn't write the new one. Yeah, but it's not that hard. Once you go through your schooling and stuff and you study, you should be good. Yeah, the passing rate is fairly high. Yeah.
And what about as a pharmacist, what is the minimum educational qualification?
Yeah, just like the other professions here, for pharmacists, it would be a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy or Bachelor of Pharmacy. There's different ways of calling it. It would be a minimum of 4-year degree, and we have to pass a 2-step licensing exam, and that's national for Canada. The first part is written, and the second part is a practical exam where we basically have scenarios, and we're given a limited amount of time, just a few minutes, and just give our best answer and how we play out and how we counsel patients and how we manage various questions asked to us. So after passing those 2 exams, we would then be registered with the province that we wish to practice in Canada. Yes. There's additional designations that come later on. Depending on the province, some of us could apply for a additional prescribing authorization, so we can prescribe prescription medications for patients and basically manage minor ailments such as skin conditions, blood pressure, diabetes, acute respiratory infections, and travel vaccination, all that we could manage. So it depends on the province and how far we want to go from there. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
I worked part-time. So wanted to make a clarification. You asked if I worked part-time, right? So actually for Canada, again, I can't say for all the universities, but I know University of Waterloo, Toronto. There's a few other universities. You can work. Waterloo has what is it called? Co-op, right? She's from Waterloo. It's called co-op program. So every 4 months you do one semester, and you can actually work for 4 months, and then you can go back to school. So you do semester by semester, and you work. The university provides a lot of assistance finding these jobs as well. I went to University of Toronto, and I did an internship. So a lot of people do 16 months. I did a 13 months internship. So that's an opportunity for the students to go out and obviously earn the money because you want to pay off your tuition. Also get a very valuable experience. So once you finish your degrees and you go into the field, this actually helped me finding my own job.
So it also helps you to build up a network. Yes. So after you graduate, it will be easier to find a good job.
That's actually very important. Building a network is very valuable here in Canada.
Oh, I'll just clarify. For nurses, though, we don't have that complicated, actually. We have clinical practices where you go in. It's from second year, depending on where the province you study and which university you go into. They place you into the hospital setting to get you started through like some of the programs. They start at second year. They always start doing that. So by the fourth year, we're actually half working at the hospital as a student, like practicing as a student, and then the other half is studying. So if you're performing fairly good, the hospital actually likes to hire you at the moment before you graduate, even before you pass the exam. So it's fairly easy. And also with nursing, like I originally graduated from Ontario and from Toronto, and I had license there. I didn't work there, I just graduated there. I transferred to Alberta, so it's transferable within Canada with our license. So it's a fairly good opportunity. And we also have, I know a lot of nurses from India that got recruited overseas to Canada. So in Alberta, like I work with a lot of the overseas nurses that they study here and then they got recruited over there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true in engineering as well. When you're doing your co-op or internship, they make you an offer. Obviously, ambition and hard work cannot emphasize on that, right? Enough. So they do make actually offer to students if they do very well, and out of graduation they'll hire those students.
Yeah. And nursing is a very broad field too. You can work in every single field. Like there is lots of different like specialties, and you can work in every single one of them. You can rotate, so you're never out of job as a nurse.
Right, now you heard from this independent individual, the youth of Canada. You can become one. If you want to become an independent individual, come to Overseas Point. We will guide you. Thank you.